Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Nurjulaila binti Mohd Kadir, and now I will explain about the introduction of our project. Data analytics are critical for making predictions, conclusions, and decisions. Therefore, we must go through the transformations, collection, and organization of data. Aside from that, data analytics are typically tasked with extracting meaning from data, which includes data engineering, the construction of data systems, as well as data science, theory, and forecasting. As we know, data plays a significant role in human life. Most business leaders use data to run their companies and gain information from it to make decisions. There are four types of key concepts, which are descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. Music is not specifically for entertainment. There is scientific research that proves music is able to influence psychological process that enhance mental and physical well-being. Therefore, the problem statement for our project is to identify if there is any relationship between an individual's music taste and their self-reported mental health. Next is research question for our data is what, if any, correlations exist between an individual's music taste and their self-reported mental health. Then, the objective for this project is to study and identify whether the use of music in daily life can affect the individual's mental health regardless of its positive or negative impacts. Second is to determine the best predicted model.
Hello, my name is Abdul Zahir bin Yamin, and I will continue to present a literature review that consists of problem domain and previous work method. Our group has found a few problem domains and are related to our topic, which is music and mental health. First and foremost, the report we found was entitled Music, Mental Health and Immunity, written by Lavinia Rabecini in 2021. In the report, it is stated that music is an essential part of daily life and plays an important role in all human cultures. The article applied interventions methods, which is provide music-based activities in both a therapeutic context and a non-therapeutic setting. A therapeutic context with the assistance of a trained professionals, while a non-therapeutic setting provide a friendly, supportive, and proactive environment in which to learn non-invasive strategies to alleviate symptoms linked with various diseases. Besides that, we also found the report entitled The Effect of Music on Mental and Physical Performance, written by Sayyideh Nasim Habibzadeh in 2015. Based on the report, it is stated that the desirable sounds of music offer a wide range of psychological and physiological health benefits among a varied populations in a variety of settings. The articles collecting data by referring to another articles that they have combined in a many research from different articles and have cited all the reference that they got the information from.
Next, I am Ahmad, Fitrie, Azizie, Jasmin will proceed to the methodology part, which is in this part we want to analyze the data based on the procedures step. So there are 4 stages on analyzing the data that we have collected from the Kaggle, in which we want to evaluate the music genre effects to mental health of the community. So there are 4 phases. So the first one is identify the problem. We will identify the problem, in which we will identify whether the music genre will affect the mental health of the community. Next, we move to the phase 2, where we will run the experiment and collect data from the internet, in which we have obtained the data from Kaggle.com. And the third phase is once the data has been collected, we model the data into a decision tree using rapid miner tools. And the last step, which is the phase 4, once done with modeling, we will test and review the data using rapid miner tools in order to determine the best predicted model.
Salam sejahtera, my name is Dyahna Floorena binti Bidan and I will be presenting the data pre-processing and explorations. There are 3 stages of understanding and preparing the dataset. And the first stage is that we define the finding objective, which are to determine what are the effects of music on individuals' mental health. The second stages was to assign the targeted variable and identifying its variable type based on its description. In this study, our target variable or dependent variable is the music effects on listeners' mental health, whether it is no effect or improving their mental health. The independent variables in our study include the age, the primary music streaming services used by listeners, hours per day spent listening to music, listeners' favorite music genre, exploratory tendency by listeners, the anxiety, depression, and insomnia scores self-reported by customers. The next stages will be the data preparation, where we identify the distribution of every data of listeners according to the variables as shown in the figures in this slide. This stage is important for us to detect any missing values in data and ensure correct data are collected for further processes and steps. Next, I will explain the data visualizations. Based on the column chart, most listeners agree that music to improve their mental health. Besides that, most of music listeners are those who between the age of 10 and 30 years old. Most of music listeners use Spotify as their main music streaming sites. And based on this figure, most people spend 0 to 2.5 hours per day to listen to music. Next, most listeners agree that they likely to listen to other or new genre of music. And the most favorite type of music chosen by respondent was rock music. And most listeners reported that they have 9 to 10 scale of anxiety. And most respondents claim that they have 7 to 8 scale of depression. And lastly, most listeners agree that they have 0 to 1 scale of insomnia.
A decision tree is a non-parametric supervised learning approach that can be used for classification as well as regression applications. It is hierarchical in structure, including a root nodes, branches, internal nodes, and leaf nodes. A root node is the first node in a decision tree and does not have any outgoing branches. The internal nodes are fed by the outgoing branches of the root node. The leaf nodes, on the other hand, reflects all of the outcomes in the dataset. The root node in the decision tree is the node at the top that corresponds to the best predictions. Decision trees are capable of handling both category and numerical data. At each node, the optimal features can be picked in a variety of ways, but 2 strategies stand out, which is information gain and entropy. Information gains calculate the reduction in entropy. It is widely employed in the creation of decision trees from a training dataset by examining the information gain from each variable and selecting the one that maximizes information gains, that lowers entropies, and best splits the dataset into groups for effective classifications. In this slightly different context, the calculation is referred to as a mutual information between the 2 random variables. Entropy, on the other hand, is a measure of unpredictability or disorder of the data being analyzed by machine learning algorithm. Each piece of information that the system processes has a particular value and can be utilized to infer conclusions. It governs how a decision tree decides how to divide data. The first step is to import the data that has been modified from the repository column. The second step is to select the split data operator and edit the parameter list of ratio with 0.7 and 0.3 respectively. The last step is to select decision tree, apply model, and performance operator. Make sure all of the ports are connected and run the data. In this experiment, using a decision tree model, a number of criteria have been used. Gain ratio, Gini ratio, information gain, and accuracy make up all of these measures. In addition, we also use both the maximum depth and the minimal leaf size. Each model has a different value of minimal leaf size and maximal depth. The goal is to increase precision to the greatest extent possible so that precise conclusions can be made. The best model for the research will be the one with the highest predictive performance percentage. So these are the tables that shows all the predictive performance of 10 decision tree models.
According to the result table above, model DT1 and DT8 have the highest accuracy, coming in at 76.53%. The least accurate DTs in these experiments are DT2 and DT3, both of which have a 67.61% accuracy rate. In addition, the DT10 model had the highest recall percentage, which 37.10%, while the DT5, DT6, and DT7 model had the lowest, which 33.33 for each. The DT8 model has the highest precision score of 47.78, while the DT5, DT6, and DT7 model have the lowest score of 25.35%. According to the above figure, accuracy will provide the right prediction, which will be used to choose the best model that capture the relationship and pattern between the variable in dataset. Precision is a metric that identifies the data of made correct positive prediction, and recall can be defined as a number that has correct positive prediction. Therefore, we can infer that DT1 is the best data for our research from all the information shown in figure 5.
To conclude, we use the machine learning model for the portion of constructing the model and experiment in order to carry out the research and attain the goals so that specific outcomes could be exhibited and the best data could be acquired for this project. With all of these procedures and techniques, we are able to meet the project's objective, which are to investigate and evaluate whether the use of music in daily life can alter an individual's mental health, whether the effects are positive or bad, and to select the best projected model. That's all from us. Thank you.